Welcome back to the podcast. Max Gomez Montejo is here, and he is the influential Chief Marketing Officer at NextNet Media. And this company includes some other websites that you may have heard of, such as The Hoth and FreeUp, and so many more. So Max is going to be telling us about what he has done with SEO, with PPC, with content creation, with SEO reselling. And Max is so knowledgeable with e-commerce, travel, telco, B2B, so we'll have lots to talk about. So Max, glad to be speaking with you.
Hey, Robert, how you doing? Thanks for having me today.
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm glad to have you. And I've heard of the Hoth for a few years. I kept seeing Facebook ads about them, and then I really heard about them when Nathan Hirsch sold FreeUp to you guys. And it seems like you're just doing amazing things. You have things dialed in. So we give a little bit of introduction about you, but what do you have to say? Like, what is your elevator pitch? What is your current focus and passion?
Well, my current focus and passion right now is to grow the next media on the next level. We were privately equity acquired 2 years ago. Now we're in the process of making this the best SEO and link building company of the world. So that's something that we've been growing right now. That's my purpose with my team, full of marketing enthusiasts, full of knowledgeable people here in Florida. And we're just trying to make this the best place we can. And at the same time, we just want to make our clients better in the SEO industry. And that's something that we are currently doing very well. We are at the house of more than 200,000 business success stories. So we're happy to continue writing those stories with our clients.
Wonderful. And what do you think is the secret to your success? You have all these happy clients, all these success stories, all these things that you've done correctly. So what is your secret sauce? What do you have that some others don't?
I'll say I can elaborate this in three different buckets. Number one, transparency. We're all about transparency with our clients. We tell whether things are not working. We go say, hey, this is not working. This is how we get better. We have an amazing report suite that also offers transparency from the results we pull from Google Search Console, from Ahrefs or SEMrush, as just to mention some of the tools we use. The second one is the passion of our team. We have team everywhere around the world. We have team here in the United States. We have team in Europe, in Australia, and we just share this value of passion of being results driven and then just do the best for our clients. And the third thing I think is the knowledge and the SEO knowledge and the industry knowledge we have. Some of our team members just came back from different conferences in Thailand. We're just learning about how to incorporate more SGE in terms of our clients' actions as well. So we are trying to evolve as we speak. So if we put all those three elements together, you have an amazing cocktail that's just for the best of our clients.
I love it. Transparency, passion, and knowledge. And so as far as SEO, there's so much to know, so much is changing. And even if someone is not doing the work, even if they are like hiring an agency such as you to do these things like the rankings and the backlinks, like what do people need to know? Like when a company comes to you and they say, I have all these problems, I need these things fixed. Do they usually know what they want, or is there a mess to be cleaned up, or like what's sort of the before picture when some company approaches you?
Yeah, usually they don't know what's going on their website. They only know that they want more organic traffic and they want more rankings. That's pretty much the usual brief that we receive. They're like, clients come to us to say, hey, this is my traffic right now. I want to increase it 2, 3, 4 times. What can you do for us? That's the day-to-day that we receive here in this business. There are different things that have been happening in the industry. First of all, backlinks. I was talking to different enterprise clients a couple of weeks ago, and they are just pretty much giving between 40 to 50% from their budget to buy and to get the best backlinks from top tier publisher like us. So that's something that's been changing in the last 2, 3 years because I didn't see it before. Second part is the technical process. We have clients with a better knowledge from a technical standpoint. It's easier for us to have meaningful conversations about your page speed, about your Google Search Console, about your content. So I think as we evolve, clients have gotten even better in terms of understanding what SEO stands for in their business. The third part is content. We've seen like with AI, some clients are trying to do this by themselves, the content using ChatGPT or other tools. But come to find out that some of them are coming back to us to say, we need help because we are losing the expertise We are losing the subject matter expert that can write about professional sports. I can talk about education. I can talk about biology. So those kind of things are coming back to us. So we do have the people to do it. So once you look the whole future, it's just a combination between technology, backlinks, AI for sure, and content. And I think this is gonna give us a great recipe for 2024 too.
I love that. That's a nice mixture just to deal with how things change and how there's new tools, and we'd be foolish to not use these new tools, but there's also all this competition because other people are using it. So it just seems like a lot to navigate.
Yeah, and then sometimes it could feel a little bit overwhelmed. And this is always my advice to my clients. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything that's happening in the world in terms of technology and digital marketing. I know maybe your listeners could resonate with this. Sometimes you are like, I don't know how to implement everything that I'm learning. I just want to make it happen. And then it's like there's a learning curve. Uh, thank God for the business. We have the learning curve already done here. We've been doing different experiments with different companies right now. We are doing different experiments with different tools as well. So it's going to be easier for the client to trust in the process and to trust that we can help them to increase the results. That's the first part. The second part is sometimes we like to do A/B testing experiments based on content that we create, based on link building that we are placing out there, also based on like analyzing little KPIs that could mean the whole life for the clients. So we try to put those things together, and those experiments always drive great results. So don't panic if you can follow with the whole market at the same time. Don't panic if you feel overwhelmed. Come to us. You can reach out to us as well, and also start doing little experiments, because little by little you can accomplish great things too.
That's a healthy mindset. It makes it a lot more fun, right? Instead of saying like the website's broken or I'm unhappy with my SEO, you're saying we'll do these little experiments. And then also what I don't know if it's just like something coming in from the universe, but probably the past year or so, I've just been getting this repeat message of it's okay to revisit the fundamentals, right? It's okay to look on the Wikipedia page for search engine optimization. It's okay to go and dial up a YouTube video just talking about like a beginner's introduction to backlinks, just to kind of really get these ideas down, even if you've done it, even if you've learned it and you've heard of it, and even just some of these fundamental concepts that we're talking about here, right? Like about link building and about content and about AI. It's not any like kind of really new ideas, and they might be ideas that we've heard of like every day for the past several months or years, but it's okay to revisit these basic concepts, because getting the mastery is more important, and the implementation is more important, and the kind of just the experimenting and turning it into some sort of results and traffic and visitors and money, that's what's more important, instead of pursuing the newest bright shiny objects. And so do you like struggle with this, or is there anyone, like as far as like your team or your clients, do you see people struggling with this, where it's tempting to look at what's new and what's unknown versus what's tried and true?
Robert, I couldn't agree more to what the description you just provide. We're on the same page. You can't forget the basics. I've seen sometimes in my team or in other clients that they just want to chase the shiny object and they forget about the day to day. I know we need to learn how to first scroll, walk, run, and then you can do a marathon. But also you need to go to the basics to see if maybe you're doing those little things in a better way than before. And I've seen in my experience that some clients and some companies, they forget about the basics. They forget that to do such as things as like creating your KPI actions for the month, following about those KPIs, having a plan to overcome those KPIs. Sometimes we forget about it because we want to do just AI. And we can't forget the basis of our business. We can't forget what's making us success in the market. So I think at that point, you need to understand that first, you need to write down your basics, remind them, just go and look at that file once every other week, and don't forget just to keep the things in the best way. It's like when you're gonna fly a plane. You know that you need to have the fuel on, you need to have the passenger sitting with the seatbelt, you need to have everything ready before you take off. Sometimes clients and companies, they want to take off before taking care of the basics. So I think it's just a balance. It's all about having a balance between your basics, your day to day, and the new initiatives that you want to accomplish. Let me give you an example. I'm trying with my team to do and to follow this methodology. 70% of our time, it's mainly to accomplish the day-to-day and the KPIs that are going to make us success. 20% are for those things that we can see in the near future they're going to become part of the 70. And then we are using 10% of our time to make sure we bring new innovative solutions that in the maybe in 6 to 7 months or 12 months, they're going to change our business. So at least we just break down our time like this and we have time to do those three things during the month. Sometimes people just forget about the basics and then just give 100% to the new shiny objects. They might be failing their business. So that's something that I encourage the teams to follow that methodology too.
I like that. And it seems like just leaving things up to chance is a recipe for chaos. If you say, "Oh, we're
Yeah.
taking off the plane," you know this. You don't have to fasten your seatbelt. It's like, well, it's important that that's there. And then by having this awareness, this like 70% on the day to day, 20% on the future, and then 10% on what to change. That I like that awareness because there's a danger in going 100% one way or the other, right? If all you're doing is the day to day, you're not growing, and if all you're doing is new stuff, then you're really not getting anything accomplished. So I like that awareness, that kind of 70, 20, 10 breakdown of just knowing where your time is spent. And also you mentioned how important it is to just write down those KPIs for the month and revisit it. And I agree with you completely there that there are for sure the weeks and the months when I don't make a list like that, when I don't write down my tasks or my goals or my to-do list. And guess what? Those are the months where I look back and say, what the heck did I do that month? Versus going back to like the really basic thing. And it seems simple and it seems really kind of like beneath me to do it. But gee, when I do it, it's just one of those like simple, tried and true techniques. So just something as simple as just writing down what I want to do. That way I can, on any given day, I know what I'm heading towards. I know if I've gotten there, and I just kind of make those actions clear. I mean, that's wonderful to think about. And so we've been talking about all these kind of different subjects. Is there anything in what you've been seeing as far as these companies you've been growing, the solutions you're providing? Is there anything important out there that your industry is not talking about enough?
Let me just go back to the example of the plane. Let's talk about turbulence first. Turbulence is going to always happen. You can't set and forget your campaigns. I've seen people, clients, setting everything and forgetting about what they do. And then they come to the end of the month to say, oh, what about if we do this? I'm sorry, it's too late to do it. So turbulence is going to happen. My advice to everyone out there is let's confront turbulence as it happens. Let's go back to what we know that could make us success in the future, and also let's understand what those little low-hanging fruits that we can take from there in order to make them grow into better KPIs. So that's something that marketers they need to be aware of. Now, to answer to your question, Robert, I think some people forget to talk about transparency. I think some companies forget to be vulnerable about their changes. It's okay to go through changes in 2024. It's okay to go through changes in your team. But if we look at this as an opportunity for us to grow, our mindsets are going to be even better. Sometimes we keep going back to the past because maybe in the past we accomplished amazing things. But how about the future? How about if we take those learnings into the future and then you take actions so you keep growing and you keep becoming what you are? I've seen with the clients I've been able to work with, I've seen with my team that sometimes it's easier for us to go back to the past and say, well, we used to do this. But what I like, the challenge is to say, how about if we can do it better for the next 5 years, for the next 5 to 10 years? And I think that's where the power of the marketing and of your passion and of your leadership come to mind. So let's also embrace transparency like this. Let's embrace change as a way to grow. Change is a good element to make sure we grow in the next year. And sometimes we think change is the opposite, something that's going to drive us crazy or can give us a bad time, but it's okay to go through that.
I agree with you, and that turbulence is your way to grow. And if you're, and man, I feel like you need to come up with a book and have all these plane analogies, right? Because if you're flying the plane and there's the turbulence, that's the time you really buckle down temporarily, right? That's when the seatbelt sign comes on, and boy, that pilot, they're 100% focused into what they're doing, and it's not that way the whole flight, but just until the problem is solved, then they're really like looking at what the problem is. And so these difficulties are our opportunities for growth, and it doesn't all have to be bad. And you can use these changes in the industry and your own problems and competitors and all that to make yourself stronger and to build the muscle. And so that's wonderful to think about. And then in these last few minutes of our conversation here, as far as you and your mindset, it's always fun to dig deep into that because you've accomplished so many things and you made some really good moves. And I can tell that you love what you do and you love helping people. Is there anything about your mindset or your time management that you feel like sharing here that maybe is really important for the listeners of this podcast?
Yeah, I think time management is a challenge that we all face. And I think I've been able to change my time management style from time to time because sometimes when you look at your calendar for the whole week, it's just full of meetings. And it's just like sometimes you feel like you work in a radio station because you're just talking and talking and talking every day, never ending talk, like never ending meetings. So one of the things I learned is just to ask this question of, first of all, am I the real decision maker of this meeting, or is it something that my team can handle? That's the first thing. The second thing that I've been trying to use is just to allocate my meetings in two different slots during the day, either between 9 to 11 or 3 to 5. So then I have a little like specific bucket from 11:30 to 2 p.m. just bring attention to the things I need to change. And also I'm an early bird. I like to wake up early. Also between 7:30 and 9, I just try to go over my email, see my KPIs. That's the first thing I do in the morning, share with my team the KPIs. So at least we are all set for the day. Sometimes it could be overwhelming, but I prefer my team to know the numbers by heart rather than the team asking me how we're pacing with some numbers. So I think that's something over the time management we're facing. But in these moments where remote work is pretty much a common thing, where you get in on meetings and you have different screens, you have iMessage, WhatsApp, Slack, different channels. I think you need to have some moments to reflect on yourself and say, okay, what are the key priorities that are going to change the business, and utilize this 70-20-10 rule that I'm trying to use as well. And I think I've seen good progress after doing that as well.
Wonderful. That's a nice list. And there's a lot to think about there as far as you mentioned this kind of daily routine with sharing the numbers of your team. And you're also mentioning this whole idea of kind of having your meetings maybe in like specific areas of the day. That way it's not the whole day of meetings. And I imagine that there also might be some kind of unconscious trial and error of just like figuring out what time of the day that works for you. Like you mentioned being an early bird. And I think about this all the time, right? As far as like meetings, like podcasts like this one, or like sales calls and stuff like that. And just over time, they end up being on like certain days of the week or certain times in that day. And that's when it sticks with me, right? When it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I know that the podcasts are around like 9 or 10 a.m. And when it's all scattered throughout the day, that's when I don't stick with that habit. And so that's interesting to think about. And then you also mentioned, I'm making sure to digest what you said here about the meetings where you might not even need to be part of it if you're not the decision maker. And you're making me think that I have a team of 10 people and they kind of regularly meet amongst each other. And sometimes I drop in, but other times I feel bad for not being there, but I'm thinking, well, when I am there, I'm not really saying anything. I'm just letting them do their thing. So I'm not really required, needed. So why am I feeling guilty for this meeting that I don't necessarily have to be at? So there's a lot to think about, a lot to navigate. And it's kind of like, all of these things we're talking about, it's kind of like there's some story about there's all these blind people touching an elephant, right? And they touch different parts of it. And the point of it is that there's some ideas that the more you try to understand them, the less sense they make. So the best you can do is just say like, hey, here's what I've tried. Here's my rules. Here's what I'm doing with the best I got. And that's what I'm getting from you, just as far as your leadership and building your company and your time management and just what you're doing as far as these SEO solutions. So tell us about this. Since we're near the end of our conversation, we want to make sure people know about your companies, your websites, your services, your offers. So what do you have? What is the next logical step if someone's heard about you and about the Hoth and your companies? Where should they go to find out more?
They should go to visit our webpage from our holding company. It's called nextnetmedia.com. Nextnet Media is the holding company of 7 amazing companies that are right now working with SEO, link building. We have a marketplace called Free App, and we also have AI companies that are creating content. for our users as well as we speak. So if one of your listeners right now is asking what we do, we are the powerhouse company behind 300,000 business success stories. You can go to nextnetmedia.com to learn more about our cases. Just to connect with us, you can connect with the whole executive team there, and you can see all the different companies and projects we're working on right now and the clients we have been fortunate to work in the past. So I think that's an amazing way for you to understand what we do. And also you can follow us on LinkedIn, where we all share knowledge on the SEO industry and the link building industry. And we are sharing also predictions for the next year as well. So come visit us and engage with our conversations on LinkedIn too.
Wonderful. And I've been doing that more and more is if there's a company that I like or a person that I like, I'll just follow them on LinkedIn. And that's kind of low commitment for me, right? I don't have to go to a website and sign up for something or make a decision. I can just say like, well, I'll start following them. And then if I notice that when I go on LinkedIn, I spend a lot more time looking at their content versus others. And that's something to like and comment and click and just kind of low key opt into what they're doing. And so on LinkedIn, go and find them at NextNet Media, as well as Max Gomez Montejo, and go to nextnetmedia.com. That's NEXTNETMEDIA.com, nextnetmedia.com. And that way you can sort of choose your own adventure and decide, well, do I want to check out the link building company or the SEO company or the AI company? You can just go there and get some ideas and see what works best for you as far as the current problem you're trying to solve or what you're building towards in your business. And as we're wrapping up and winding down our conversation here, Max, I want to make sure that we get a quote or lesson from you, because that's always interesting to think about, right? Things that have like helped you along the way that are like small and digestible and kind of a soundbite. So what comes to mind when I ask you about a favorite quote or lesson that you feel like sharing?
I will say winners train, losers complain. It's just about training and creating a habit where you improve your KPIs and your knowledge and your day-to-day actions. I think I always go with that one because I think that reflects my passion and the passion I use for my team to create new things as well.
I love it. Losers complain and winners train. And you, as a winner, the very next step right now is to go to nextnetmedia.com. We've been speaking with Max Montejo, and thank you very much, Max, for showing up and being an amazing person. I appreciate you.
Robert, thanks for your time. Have a good day.